This is Chad and Jake in the evening. So what's going on?
Hey, I'm Jake.
This is Chad, and we also have along with us Remy.
What's good?
So yeah. So tonight we're going to be talking about sports. It's going to be Sports Talk Radio. So first topic would be NCAA March Madness. So the national tournament just ended last night with the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill beating Gonzaga in a very good game, if I may say so myself.
In my opinion, way too much referee. Like, they didn't let him play, ever, at all. There was no rhythm to the game, and I got bored. I shut it off.
Did you really?
I did, yeah.
Interesting. I thought it was there. I definitely see where you're coming from with the referee interference. You know, in terms of not letting them play, but and I would have liked to have seen them play a little more because I was looking forward to the big matchup, you know, down low between President Karnowski from Gonzaga and Kennedy Meeks from North Carolina. That was what I was looking forward to the most, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree, but I mean, the matchup was still there. It was just the game wasn't decided as much on shots as it was decided on free throws, which I think is, in my opinion, it's not basketball as much. Like, basketball needs to be
that flow.
It's at its best entertainment wise when, shots are taken and there's high tempo basketball, not when there's a whistle blown every 10 seconds and there's no rhythm to the game.
I agree. There's a lot of guys getting in foul trouble pretty early on. I think they said with a few minutes left in the second half. I remember hearing one of the commentators say there's been 21 fouls called already in that half alone, which pretty high if you ask me.
Yeah, and the foul trouble I think cost Gonzaga the game too, because all of their bigs were in foul trouble.
Yeah, Karnowski was in foul trouble most of the game. Collins, Zach Collins, he was in foul trouble, and he was an impact player for them. And when you're playing against a team like North Carolina, I mean, you can try to throw as many guards as you want at them, but they're gonna hammer you down low. They got some good size, and one of the best offensive rebounding team in the nation. So, what would you think was the biggest surprise from the tournament this year?
Oh, it's gotta be South Carolina, right?
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, it's just that was incredible. I was rooting for them all the way, and they almost had Gonzaga too.
They really did.
It was sad to see him go, but I also think Villanova going out so early was a pretty huge surprise.
Yeah, that was very surprising.
Yeah,
I didn't expect that.
Yeah, my bracket busted.
Yeah, mine was busted pretty early on. I think everyone's brackets for the most part busted pretty early on.
Did you know that the winning bracket for ESPN picked UC Davis to the Elite Eight?
I'm sorry, say that. The winning bracket?
The bracket that had the highest score in like all of the millions of brackets that were chosen.
They had UC Davis in the Elite Eight.
Yeah, but they picked like everything else right.
That's an interesting pick.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of crazy.
That is ridiculous. Wow, I'm surprised by that pick.
Yeah, I didn't know what to think when I saw that.
I'm kind of lost for words with that too. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what they were thinking, but
clearly it worked out, right?
Yeah, clearly you said they got everything else right. I mean, hey, they picked it right. I was watching the interesting thing I heard last night on Monday Night Baseball and the Angels athletics game. I heard Tim Kurkjian talking about how Cameron Maben, I think it was, he told him that Gonzaga. He said UNC was going to win by 5, and they ended up winning by 6. He said, it doesn't matter what the score is going to be, they're going to win by 5. And my God, Cameron Maben, if that's who it was, I don't know how he predicted it that closely, but
he just got lucky.
Probably did.
Yeah, I mean, statistically, someone's going to get a prediction right.
Yeah.
That's just how it works. You see all these crazy predictions online, and people are like, oh, my God, how did they guess that right? It's because there's millions and millions of crazy predictions out there. Well, I mean, one of them's got to be right. Yeah.
It's no one, people can say, like, oh, no, I know for a fact it'll be this, but no one really knows.
Yeah, no, for sure. Speaking of Angels athletics, did you see Chris Davis hit 2 homers to start the year off?
I did hear about that. And we're talking, folks. I know we're here in Baltimore, being at Goucher College. We're not talking about Chris Davis from the Orioles. We're talking about Chris Davis, who plays for the Athletics. I believe he's an outfielder, correct?
Yeah.
He's got a very good bat too.
Oh yeah, he's sick.
He hit he launched 2 monster homers, didn't he?
Yeah, one didn't even look like it was going to leave the ballpark, and it was out by a good 20 feet, like off his bat. He's just raw power.
That's ridiculous. Rougned Odor from the Rangers, he blasted 2 of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I think most surprising.
Bumgarner.
Madison Bumgarner, good old Mad Bum.
Yeah.
Hitting one off of Zach Greinke, and then another one off of, I think it was Chafin.
Mm-hmm.
And the first one, was pretty solid. The second one, I saw him swing, and the second that ball hit the bat, I was like, bye-bye.
I didn't have a chance to see that one, but
oh,
it's big.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
He launched it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, hey, if they told him that he could be in the Derby and he accepted that offer, I'd be happy to see that.
Yeah. No, I think the person I want to see in the Derby the most of probably any player, I want to see Ichiro in the Derby. I've heard
the same thing. He's got, he'll be in batting practice just busting homers, right?
Yeah. No. Apparently Barry Bonds has come out and said that Ichiro should be in the home run derby. Like,
I mean, he was the Marlins hitting coach last year, and I'm sure he's seen his fair share of Ichiro over his, when he was a player. But Ichiro's he's fun to watch on TV or in person, and I like Ichiro quite a bit.
No, yeah, I think nobody can dislike Ichiro. I don't know any. I've never met a baseball fan that dislikes that man.
Yeah, even when he was on the Yankees, and I adamantly dislike the Yankees, as I'm sure you do as well.
Mm-hmm.
Even when he was still there, I still like Ichiro, and now he's Marlin. It just makes it all the more better.
Yeah.
I think he would be a very high quality manager in the big leagues, if he ever got if he wanted to be a manager.
I don't think he will.
I don't think he will either. I mean,
you can't teach his swing either.
Well, not even that. He's the baseball IQ.
Yeah, for sure.
I think he has so much to offer to more players of all generations.
Did you know? I was reading an article the other day, and it was saying that Ichiro learned Spanish just so he could trash talk with all of the Hispanic baseball players out there.
Really?
And yeah, they all he mostly hangs out with the Hispanic players and just trash talks with them. And like he learned Spanish solely to be able to, just talk shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I wonder if his Spanish is better than his English.
Probably not.
I don't know. Well, the interesting thing is he still has he still has an interpreter with him.
Does he really?
He does, but I've been trying to find them. I found a few things on on YouTube where I was watching a video. It was him meeting Michael Jordan for the first time. It was when Ichiro was just making his way over to the big leagues from Japan when he the early days of him joining Seattle,
mm-hmm.
and they took him to a Bulls game.
Yeah,
and he's there. You can see it's pretty funny. You see young Ichiro, probably I don't know how old he was, maybe anywhere from like 19 to 23. Probably.
Yeah.
And he's in the locker room. I think they took him into the training room. Michael Jordan was getting worked on or something. You see Ichiro standing there, all 5'11" of him, wearing however skinny he is, wearing a white Tom and Jerry sweater. Tom and Jerry, and you see him walk in there, and Michael Jordan stands up, and he just towers over him, and it's just the interaction was hilarious. It was pretty great. Like both of them being excited to meet each other, and it's just really funny. And I remember hearing him speak a little bit English in that when I saw an interview of him, a clip of it, telling Bob Costas, I think it was, what his favorite American saying was that he heard once he got to the big leagues.
What was it?
I don't remember exactly what it was, but I know it was something very, very funny because Bob Costas burst out laughing. I'll have to find it.
Yeah.
But anyway, opening day, as we're talking about. So the first slate of games was Sunday night,
mm-hmm.
or Sunday afternoon to Sunday night, and then yesterday there was a bunch of games. How'd the Braves do?
The Braves. Starting pitching was good, but
they played the Phils, right?
No, Mets.
Oh, the Mets. That's right. They played the Mets.
Yeah, they started out. We gave up 6 runs in the 7th and lost 6-0. Our bullpen is still the Braves' bullpen is just still horrendous, and we need the young talent, the young pitching to come up. But I don't know. we'll see.
Well, who started for you guys?
Tehran.
Who was Tehran?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he pitched really well. I don't think he gave up any runs, but unfortunately the bullpen sucks.
I know your guys' farm system has been ridiculous though.
I believe it's the best farm system right now in the MLB.
But better than I know. Much to my dismay to say it, but I know that the Yankees, their farm system's been pretty good. Hasn't it?
They're second.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with them. The Marlins, we played the Nationals yesterday, as we like to call them, Walgreens.
Yeah.
And I know neither of us. That's NL East rival for both of us. And we lost 4-2 in a game that featured Bryce Harper, who
didn't he make a ridiculous catch that
he did. I think he did.
He also hit a homer.
Yeah, he
pretty much cost you guys that game.
Yeah, well, Adam Lind, I think it was, came in late in the game and launched one. Let me look up the score. That's what I'm looking for right now. Let's see, yesterday was April 3rd, correct?
Yeah.
Here we go. Yeah, David Phelps took the loss. Steven Strasburg, he pitched yesterday. I saw some stat. I think they're 4-0 on days in which, on opening days, that Strasburg has been a starting pitcher, and Strasburg's he's a good pitcher.
Yeah.
There's
that whole controversy about resting him for the playoffs when they were there, because they're like, oh, we'll be back, but they haven't done much in the playoffs since then. So maybe that was their time. Maybe they shouldn't arrest him.
And they shouldn't have. Who knows what would have happened. I think one of the most interesting games was from opening day was by far the Dodgers and the Padres. Did you see the score of that one?
I know the Dodgers blew up the Padres, and I believe they hit a home run cycle. So they hit a 1-run homer, a 2-run homer, a 3-run homer, and a grand slam.
Well, yeah, I know Jock Pearson had a grand slam.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the team hit for a home run cycle, which is interesting.
That's a crazy stat.
Yeah, I know. I feel bad for the Padres. They consistently are not good.
Yeah, they have not been good for quite some time. Probably since the days of Tony Gwynn. May he rest in peace. It was probably at least the last time I can think of recent. I mean, the Padres were any good. It's been a while, but let's see what we have here. I'm looking at the Padres box score.
It was 9-0, I think.
14-3.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
I was way off.
14-3. With Clayton Kershaw obviously getting the nod for opening day. And, he is some very good pitching on opening day.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's always a good pitcher. Like, name a time where he's not a good pitcher. But I know what you're saying.
Postseason 2 years ago against the Giants.
Well, yeah, that's fair enough.
Just in general against the Giants, at least when Bumgarner's pitching, because Bumgarner has homered off him a few times, I think.
I mean,
Bumgarner's homered off of just about everyone, hasn't
he? Yeah, he's, he hit one off of Greinke the other day.
I remember, he hit one off Greinke. I heard them say something. I think Greinke walked him in his first at bat, and they were like, see why Greinke threw him that curveball at like a 3-1 or 3-2. Just rather have him walk, rather walk him than get one launched.
Yeah.
Came back a few minutes later, didn't get, he missed his target and made a big mistake, and Bumgarner said, "See you later, Zach." And the second one was a fastball up in the zone, just right in his area.
Yeah. No, Bumgarner's wins above replacement is already .6.
Already.
After one game where he pitched well and had 2 homers.
Well, he was.
I saw a stat that said he's already better than all but 4 of the Reds pitchers for the whole last year.
Wow.
Like, it's just
the Reds were pretty trash last year.
Yeah, I mean, their pitching, yeah.
Their pitching was. Yeah. Pitching hasn't been too great in quite a while. For the Reds. The last real thing they had was Homer Bailey and Johnny Cueto.
Yeah.
And Matt Latos for a little while. That was about it. But Bumgarner, they said after he hit those 2 homers, he was leading the league already in home runs.
He was.
Which, I know it's one game, but in that game, by the way, he became the first pitcher in history. First starting pitcher in history to hit 2 homers on opening day.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not hugely surprising, actually. 2 homers by a pitcher on opening day.
That's pretty surprising. Are you saying coming from him or just in general?
I'm not saying I'm not surprised it's the first time.
Oh no, it's not. I'm not surprised it's the first time, but it was surprising that he did it.
Yeah. Oh no, for sure, it's surprising that he did it. But
it's not surprising that that a pitcher hasn't done it before. That's expected.
Speaking of pitchers hitting home runs, how do you feel about the DH as someone that supports both a team in the AL and the NL?
That's right, Marlins and Red Sox.
Yeah.
Well, what do you mean how I feel about it? Just in general?
Do you think the DH should be a league-wide thing? Do you think not having a DH should be a league-wide thing, or do you like the way it is? I personally think the DH should be a league-wide thing, and I think, baseball's already become so specialized that I don't know. I like watching pitchers have to go swing the bat. Watching Bartolo Colon swing the bat was
fun.
Some of the greatest moments in baseball.
Oh yeah, and then when he hit a homer, that was fantastic.
And I mean, part of the art of managing is
knowing who to have hit.
Well, when do you pull your pitcher because you want to put a pinch hitter in,
right?
Or learning, like teaching your pitchers to lay down a bunt and manufacturing runs that way. Like I think that adds more to the game of baseball and strategy. But at the same time,
it's something that's very overlooked, in recent years.
Yeah, but at the same time, you have to think about like the league commissioners really trying to like shorten up the game and add more excitement, and they want more offense, and so pitchers are obviously going to be the opposite of offense. That they're specialized in one thing, and that's pitching, so they're not going to be good batters.
Well, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. Go ahead.
No, that's pretty much.
I heard an interesting thing, in that Giants game the other day when they were playing the Diamondbacks. They were saying something about, I think the Giants have an interleague series coming up within the next week or so.
Yeah.
And so maybe against the Cubs. I do not remember who it's again. No, that's not interleague because the Cubs are also National League team. Whoever it is. They were saying, you think Bumgarner will take his? Do you think that as opposed to having a DH, you think he'll just stand in there and take his own cuts? And on the day where he starts, as opposed to having someone DH for him. And that would be interesting. So I'm wondering if, depending on who the pitcher is for a game, let's say it ends up being, let's say the DH rule stays just, in the American League only.
Yeah.
Like what we really have now, National League ballpark, you can't have a DH. If you're in an American League ballpark and you're playing interleague, then you can. Let's say it stays like that. Do you think it'll be up to the pitcher if they decide they want to hit, or if the manager may have them hit because they know they can hit as well, depending on who it is? Like Bumgarner, for instance, in an interleague game, if he wants, if he's pitching and wants to take his cuts.
I still think you play DH. Like obviously, someone that's paid to hit the baseball, not paid to pitch the baseball, is going to be better at hitting.
I think that, and it really is because for many teams, like you said, the amount of pitchers who can hit. Who are solid hitters in games at least, because you see some guys out in batting practice just launching them. But it's a different environment, batting practice to game time. First of all, you've got a guy throwing balls, just throwing them at you.
He's trying to not get you to hit the ball.
Exactly.
Like, it's
batting practice, you got him throwing, throwing little loopers at you. There's also no crowd either. It's not a game time situation. Like you said, in any game, you've got all different speeds coming at you, all different types of different targets. So I think that if there is going to be a change, I think it should be a league-wide thing. You either have a DH or you don't have a DH.
Yeah. No.
I think they should have.
You don't like the way it's halfway right now?
Well, it really does, put a lot of teams at an advantage.
Yeah, it does. Like it puts. No, I mean,
actually, no, I guess it doesn't because
in the AL, when it's played in the AL. You're going to have teams that have a DH, and they're going to take advantage of that because they have a player whose role
so it really
is
puts,
to
so
match.
I guess no one's really at a disadvantage.
The only
maybe an AL team playing in
the World Series, debatably. Then
that's so. Does it come down to it should be at a certain point, like in the World Series only?
Well, no.
Where you have it or you don't have it.
No, because I think it should just be. I think they need consistency in the league.
Just keep it the way it is.
No. I mean, I think they need it one way or the other.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
And I think
are you erring more on the side of not having it?
I don't like the DH, but that's just because I don't know. I think it's special when you see a pitcher hit the ball.
It is.
And
it's really pitcher hits the ball, crowd goes wild.
Yeah, every time. And I think that's really special. And I'm a bit of a baseball purist. So I don't like this new intentional walk rule either.
I don't like it either.
Because I don't know, anything can happen in baseball. Like you've seen multiple times where the pitcher throws a bad intentional walk over the plate.
Oh, perfect example.
Guy
Miguel
hits
Cabrera against the Orioles back in 2008.
Yeah, no, it's.
You got smart hitters who know how to, if the guy's paying attention and he sees him throwing an easy one up there, he's going to go after it.
Yeah, it's.
I've even seen intentional walks with pass balls.
Yeah, that happens a lot, actually.
Yeah. And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, this new intentional walk rule, they're just saying they're calling intentional walk and then moving them up, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it only saves what? It's supposed to save time. It saves 40 seconds in a 3 hour and a half,
so
3.5 hour game.
Saves 40 seconds?
Yeah.
Oh, God, I hope this doesn't go down to that. What was it?
No.
Won't go there.
Yeah.
Because that's for another time, but 40 seconds, I mean.
In a 3.5 hour game, I don't think anybody's going to care. If they really want to save time, then cut out all the ads, but they won't do that because baseball's all about they got to make money.
All the sports.
It's a billion dollar business.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're cutting out a part of the game. Once again,
I agree. I consider myself to be a baseball purist as well, and I'm 100% with you on that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with it. What I do agree with is the new challenge, instant replay challenge rule that they tweaked, that they modified the rule.
Would you want? All right, taking this one step further, I agree with that as well. Would you want a robot calling balls and strikes?
No.
See, I'm gonna argue for yes, and you just take all margin for error out of the game, right?
Yeah, but then again, I mean.
You think there's a human element that makes it special?
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess it makes it special, but also, you got a robot calling balls and strikes. You got guys who are swinging at curveballs who may not be swinging at curveballs at another time. You know what I mean? There's the whole concept of framing, which you have to be really good at in order to get away with it. But
yeah,
it's
because it takes away. Because there's star power in the game too. Some pitchers who have borderline pitches, if they're famous, like Kershaw is going to get the call on a borderline pitch, where a no-name guy is not going to get the call. Is that fair?
No, but I don't know. I mean, obviously it's not fair in that regard, but I just don't know if I don't know how it would work. How well it would work if you had a robot calling balls and strikes? Because I mean, what's the idea that they'll have just have K zone up there, like they have that little square?
No, not like that. No, it'd be much more like behind the plate, probably, like where an umpire is potentially a tripod or. I don't know the logistics of it. I'm just saying hypothetically, would you want, would you want would you want all error removed from the game?
I don't know if you can. I don't know if. I think there maybe has to be some margin for error.
Why?
Because it adds it. Well, there's the excitement factor.
So you think
there's at the same time, if you take away, I don't know how to explain it. It's not just about excitement.
No, I mean, so you think excitement is.
No, it's not just about
bad
excitement.
Calls make excitement. I mean, it does.
Well, it's not just about the excitement, but.
I mean, bad calls drive controversy, which brings excitement to the sport, but
it's not only about excitement. Like you said, I'm a baseball purist.
Yeah.
But I hadn't even given that much thought until you mentioned it.
Yeah. I mean, it's just.
I mean, would you definitely be in favor of it?
I think it'd be something that they could try maybe in spring training, see how it works.
See, maybe give it a test run in the minors.
Yeah, just because, I mean, there's always complaints like of fans about the strike zone, and if you put a completely impartial thing in place.
Yeah, but then we're basically turning it into a justice system of sorts.
Not a justice system.
And the whole impartial concept.
Like in tennis, there's
Hawkeye.
Yeah, there's Hawkeye.
See, that's if you're talking about something like that, then yes, but does that mean? But Hawkeye is only you only have that finite amount of challenges in which you can use Hawkeye, and if you get it right, obviously you get to keep your challenge. If you get it wrong, you lose a challenge, but it's not like they're using Hawkeye every single time. But also, I mean, it's not. I mean, on the Power Share series, and I think in the new Best of 7 format as well, but on the Power Share series, guys like Roddick and Roddick's playing, and Andre Agassi, they have a chair umpire, but all calls, you can challenge every call.
Really?
Yeah. So, I mean, when you do something like that, when you're talking about baseball, would you have it so you could theoretically challenge every call, or are you just saying that would just be the all-time caller?
No, I'm just saying
behind the plate, as opposed to having like an umpire behind there.
No, just an all-time caller behind the plate, and remove all
base umpires.
I think you keep them in place because there's still a challenge system. But balls and strikes, with the balls and strikes, it removes, because balls and strikes are a huge part of the game.
Right.
But you're right, it does remove the skill element of framing. But you can argue
it takes that. I mean,
the framing is deceptive.
It is deceptive, but so then, where do you I guess where's that line? Because guys are still gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, well, if it doesn't work anymore, they won't.
True.
Yeah,
but they might try. I mean, it still won't necessarily. You know what? It won't take away from a guy trying to swing at a ball sinking down to the dirt. So I guess in that, it won't change it that much. And I guess when you look at it from that perspective,
yeah,
I think it would be an interesting thing for them to experiment with.
Yeah, no, you're right. I've just thrown that out there. It's an idea.
No, it's a very good idea.
Yeah. So what do you think of? Speaking of tennis, we brought that up. What do you think of Fed's resurgence? I don't think it's natural. I think that Roger Federer is doping.
I disagree.
All right. So let me lay out my argument, okay? So Roger Federer.
Well, when you say doping, go ahead, lay out your argument.
I think he's doing illegal things because he was on decline fully, and then he goes away for 6 months, and he comes back, not playing, and he's looking more athletic. He's looking like he's got better hands. He's just playing out of his mind, and I don't think this is possible. I think there must have been an unnatural. He must have been taking some type of unnatural substance, because there's just no way a guy like this can make this comeback. And I think nothing will be done about it, because if you really think about it, tennis is they're not gonna test either both Rafa and Fed, because they're tennis's biggest stars. They're the money makers, and they're potentially the two of the greatest players of all time. I would say probably the two greatest players of all time in tennis. And
yes, Fed is the greatest of all time. Rafa is, he's definitely up there.
But so this leads. I don't think this rebound is too ridiculous. The only person he's lost to this year is a no-name guy whose name I completely forget in the first round. And he hasn't lost since then. And he's played longer matches. He spent so much more time on court than Nadal. And in that tournament, Fed didn't look gassed at all. But I distinctly remember watching Fed lose to Raonic, and he was just gassed. He's totally gassed. And so I just think this isn't natural. So what do you think about this?
I don't think he's doping. I really don't. I really do think that him taking that, what was it, 6 month period of time off after Wimbledon.
Yeah.
And then once he did that, I think that helped him. I think he was smart. How is he now? 35, 36, whatever it is. He's listening to his body.
Okay.
Because he was having an injury. He had a couple more injuries the last few years, and he wasn't stupid about it. You know what I mean? He's clearly the guy is the greatest tennis player of all time.
Okay.
He's, he comes back, and he's, like you said, this resurgence he's been on. Is it crazy? Yes, 100%, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's anything artificial. Tennis is so, and you can make the argument all you want that not going to test Fed or Rafa or Novak Djokovic or any of these top guys.
Mm-hmm.
But this testing is so stringent in the sport of tennis. It's so hard to get through the. I don't think they're slipping through the cracks, especially not a guy like Fed.
I think they're intentionally not testing Fed. He's not slipping through the cracks.
Well, I just remembered as I'm looking at a message from one of our listeners sent us. He's now taking 6 weeks off, to rest and recover. So clearly he is a bit gassed.
I mean, is he? I mean, obviously he's going to be gassed either way, but I'm just saying, I don't think Federer had the stamina to.
I think it also comes down to him just being a smart tennis player as well, and obviously I was surprised that he was going. What was it? 2 or 3 straight matches in which he had all 3 tiebreakers in each of the 3 sets. Something crazy like that.
It was definitely the Kyrgios match.
Kyrgios match, and didn't he beat somebody else in 3 breakers?
Yeah, probably.
Who did he play in the quarters? I'm trying to remember.
But the next 6 weeks is all clay court tournaments anyway. He knows he's going to lose those.
He's being smart. He's eliminating tournaments from which
Well, I agree he's being smart, but I think
he's not going to expend energy in tournaments that he's at the point in his career where he knows he's not going to. He knows his chances are slim to win.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to be back until Wimbledon or until the grass court season. So, I guess if he plays Queen's Club,
he's going to play the French.
I mean, he'll play the French, but look, I really don't think he's doping. I definitely don't think he's doing anabolic steroids.
No, I think he's saying HGH.
Oh, the HGH. I mean, still, you don't see the growth physically.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying huge amounts. I'm just saying reaction time.
There would have been some difference, some physical change some noticeable difference. He still looks. He still looks like scrawny old Fed.
He's not scrawny.
It's not scrawny, but he's not scrawny. Yes,
mm-hmm.
Wasn't the right word to use, but there's no real physical change there. It's not like Murray a few years ago when he bulked up, and I'm not saying he's juicing. But Murray was a scrawny kid, and then he put on. I mean, he's a solid dude now.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's just.
That's weight room, but.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I don't think Fed's doping. Put it that way.
All right.
Well, but so then do you think Rafa's doping as well? Because the only guy that he's been losing
Rafa's
to.
Always been doping.
You're one of those people who thinks that too?
Oh yeah. Are you kidding me? He's going bald. He runs like a madman. No, yeah, he's been doping. He's been at least blood doping since he was like a kid. That's no doubt in my mind.
It goes all the way back to when he was a kid.
Oh yeah, no doubt. No doubt in my mind that Rafa's been doping the whole time. But
interesting.
I mean I wouldn't be shocked if the top 50 tennis players all take some type of substance.
Well, that's hard to. I mean, it's hard to put your finger on the top 50 because it's always changing.
Well, okay, that's not. You know what I mean here.
Yeah.
Every top tennis player, it would not surprise me because their reaction times are unreal, and they're doing this for hours and hours and hours. It wouldn't surprise me if just about every pro sport is just proliferated with it, and I think it is.
I still think tennis is, because it's such an individual sport.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard. And there's so many players. Obviously, you'd think, okay, it's hard to keep track of it. But I think that I really don't. I think the testing is so stringent and the system is so watertight.
Is it though? It
seems to be, and I just don't think they're getting through. Because
can you describe the process for me?
I can look it up.
All right, no, we don't need to look at that yet.
I mean, I can't describe, but I mean, from what from things I've read and heard in the past,
Mm-hmm.
it's a pretty tight system. I'm
Yeah.
not an expert on it.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not saying I am, but
No.
you know the thing with Sharapova, Maria Sharapova on the WTA tour, one of the top players.
Yeah.
Very,
Mhm.
she's incredibly, she's very famous, both on and off the court.
Yeah.
She got, she's just coming off of, I think she's returning soon from her suspension for a drug that she'd been taking for years for a medical condition. But it's not, it's, apparently it's now, it was recently, I think within the last year or two, was added to the list of banned substances. And the story is that she didn't know about it, but she wasn't taking it to as a performance enhancing drug. She was taking it. They said she was taking it for a medical condition she had.
What country is she from, Chad?
I know.
Yeah.
She's from Russia, but she's been.
Where
she's
have
been
all
playing,
of these
she's been living in
Olympic
Florida most of her life.
Where have all the Olympic doping scandals come from, Chad?
Oh, that's true. But still, they found her. But they haven't found anyone else.
Yeah, no,
At least no one else big name. But
maybe she wasn't cleared. I don't know.
Who knows? I don't think they're doping. But
okay, moving on. Who's your favorite for the French?
Say Rafa or Stan.
I agree with Stan. I think I'd say they're both top 4. I'd put it at Stan as the fave, and then I'd put Rafa as my second, and then
I'm gonna say Murray or Joker.
I'm gonna say Joke.
Yeah.
I don't think Murray's gonna come back super well, like off his injury.
Yeah.
And I think I'm gonna throw in a Jack Sock. I think Jack Sock has had an incredible year, and he plays well in clay.
Oh yeah, I think Sock is gonna. He's currently the highest ranked U.S. men's tennis player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know which one or when, but he will win a slam.
I think clay is his strongest surface because he grew up on clay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And
he's got the topspin for it. He's got the topspin for clay for sure. He hits it with more rotations per minute
more
than Rafa. Yeah.
Which is a pretty crazy thing.
Yeah, he just.
Rafa's got almost 5,000 RPM on his.
Yeah,
on his forehand.
it's absurd. It's absurd.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm feeling Stan. Stan's been actually consistent this year, which is shocking. Which
it's been a while since he's been consistent.
I know he's been inconsistent in his inconsistency.
Yeah.
Which is, but I think he's got a really good shot, and I'd quite like to see him go far. I think Fed's going out in the quarters.
Did you say quarters?
If he makes it that far.
Interesting. I'd like to see. Is Raonic playing the French this year?
I don't know. I think he's withdrawn a lot.
Yeah, he's been hurt recently, hasn't he?
I don't know.
I think I'm not saying he'll win the French, but I think he's gonna win a major at some point. He's one of. I really like watching him play. He's made it to the finals of Wimbledon.
Mm-hmm.
He beat Fed, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. He beat Fed.
That's the match I was talking about.
That's right. Yeah, and I saw Raonic on my practice court when I was in London when I was living over there.
Really?
Study abroad.
Yeah.
Bardia and I shout out to Bards. If he's listening, which he probably isn't.
No, he's definitely not.
Yeah, he's definitely not listening. We did study abroad in London, and we made it to Wimbledon. We saw Raonic on our practice court, which is pretty cool. Fed waved to us from the balcony.
Did he?
He did.
That's cool.
That was really cool. Got that on video.
That's really cool.
But Milos Raonic, heck of a player.
Mm-hmm. He's
got a very complete game. He's working with, more so than it used to be. He's working with John McEnroe recently working on certain aspects of his game. The serve is obviously there. The forehand's there.
I don't like him.
Why not?
Because he wears a mouth guard.
He does.
Yeah, he wears a mouth guard because he grinds his teeth when he plays, and it gives him headaches. And he meditates between points, and I don't know, I just rubs me the wrong way.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not a fan.
And yet you like Nick Kyrgios.
I do like Kyrgios quite a bit.
Crazy.
Yeah, I like when people break norms.
It's not so much about that. I just think Kyrgios has zero respect, or he seems to be growing up a bit, in recent months. But
did you like Agassi?
Well, we weren't alive to see Agassi when he was.
Have you read Agassi's book?
I have.
Yeah,
it's some crazy stuff in there.
It is.
And he was a jerk. Yeah, there's no doubt.
Yeah. No, I guess I like players that ruffle some feathers.
Do you like Bernard Tomic?
I kind of do, actually.
Really?
Yeah, he makes me laugh.
I hate watching him play. I remember for the beginning of his career he was fun to watch. Now he's just a pusher.
Yeah, no.
That's why. That's one of the I just can't stand watching him play. Other than that, I also think he's.
He doesn't perform as well. He's not that fun to watch. But Nick, as much as you can say now, I agree. Nick is
so
much fun to watch.
If he's not tanking.
When's the last time he tanked?
I know last year, but that's what I'm saying.
But
was it Shanghai?
I don't know. But outside of he's tanked one game, but outside of that he puts on a show.
He does put on a show. I know he had I don't know how many 5 topspin tweeners, front facing tweeners as well. And he's doing the Fed.
Yeah, and he's not only that, but he cares. He clearly cares. He's smashing rackets, which isn't necessarily the best thing, but that does mean he cares. It means he cares a lot. If you didn't care about tennis, would you smash your rackets if you weren't winning?
I would smash my rackets in general.
No, I know, but I'm just saying. Passion, anger shows passion.
Yes. And
he puts on this show of not caring about tennis, on social media and stuff. But I think that's because
I don't really pay attention to him on social media. But
he's still a teenager, basically. He's
our age.
Yeah, he's really young.
21.
Yeah, and he was recently a teenager, but
yeah,
he's Nick Kyrgios.
I think it seems as though he's starting to finally grow up. There were questions, the last 2 years about his work ethic and his drive, to actually make it far and make a career out of make it a living out of being a professional tennis player instead of just doing it, you know what I mean. But he is fun to watch. There's no doubt.
Yeah,
he's I guess an electrifying performer.
Yeah.
So, I agree with you on that. I don't think he's as fun to watch as Kyle Monfils, though.
He's getting there. He's definitely getting there.
The next best one after Monfils is by far what's his face, Dustin Brown.
Oh no, Dustin Brown is better than Monfils to watch. Are you kidding me? Have you seen Dustin Brown highlights?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
The only reason that I think part of why he's better to watch is because of the fact that up until the last year and a half, 2 years, we haven't seen as much of Dustin Brown. We haven't seen him on a consistent basis.
No, he's not. His game style is not consistent enough
to be consistent on the ATP tour.
Yeah, no.
No, you're right. But I think that's part of why we enjoy watching him so much.
Of course, because when you see him, he's on, and when you don't see him, you don't see him because he's playing a Challenger 250 somewhere.
Yeah.
And
just beating up on people.
Yeah, or losing.
Yeah, that too.
But.
He had a good match against Donald Young in the early round of this tournament.
I didn't see it, but I will never forget watching him beat Rafa at Wimbledon.
I remember exactly where I was watching that match.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I just got to the hotel in Vienna, Austria, and we were watching that match, and we were just shocked. I was like, am I watching this, or is this the jet lag kicking in?
That was crazy. That was a crazy match.
Ridiculous. Well, so shifting gears here, or is there anything else we wanted to cover on tennis?
No, not that I can think of right now.
So, next thing I want to talk about a couple of things in the NFL. Today, I saw that Tony Romo announced that he's stepping away from the game of football. At least he's stepping away from the field. Mm-hmm. He's trading in his shoulder pads, helmet, and uniform, and his jersey. He's trading in for a suit and a headset.
Microphone. I think it's a good move.
I think it's smart for Tony Romo.
Yeah. How many times has he been hurt?
Too many.
Yeah.
Like me.
Yeah. Way more than you.
And more than me, but
And he's got a kid. He's got a kid now.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's gonna make. He's not pulling a Brett Favre.
He's gonna make great money.
The guy's already made great money.
I mean, more great money, and we get rid of Phil Simms, which is honestly the best part about this.
Is that who he's gonna get rid of?
Yeah, Phil Simms.
I didn't read that, but hey,
the worst announcer.
No, he's not the worst announcer. Chris Collinsworth.
I like Collinsworth.
Why? Every other word the guy says is phenomenal. This guy's a phenomenal player. He's this this guy out here, he's a hard worker. I love watching him play.
Collinsworth makes me laugh because you can just tell he loves football. And him and Al Michaels, they just geek out sometimes.
Chris Collinsworth just says stupid stuff. I'd gladly listen to John Madden, even as obvious as he is.
No way. Phil Simms is an idiot, and the stuff he says on the field. Anyway, Romo retiring, and that gives.
I think it's smart.
Oh no, I agree. And no team was wanting him. No team.
Well,
no,
I think the Texans may have wanted him, but that's about it.
Even they weren't willing
to give him big money, right?
Yeah, they weren't willing to give up some draft picks to get him.
Yeah.
And
the guy's 37. I think they say he's gonna be 38 in the next few months.
Yeah,
he comes back. I read that it was he's played in parts of 5 games over the last 2 seasons. I respect him for coming to this realization that it's time.
That's
for
smart.
him
That's smart.
Before he ends up in a wheelchair.
Yeah, no. I mean, he's gonna want to be able to walk when he's 50, and if he continues on this path,
he's life with his kids.
Yeah, I agree, and I think he has potential to be a really good broadcaster.
I think he could be as well. And he's, as much as I don't like the Dallas Cowboys, well, as much as much as we may make fun of Tony Romo for his foibles in December, I think it is. As much as for his blooper reel and of mistakes towards the end of the season.
He's only had one really bad play.
I know, but it was great.
Oh,
he's had his share of bad plays. Right?
I mean, he was the Dallas Cowboys for a good number of years.
Definitely. Well, him and then Jason Witten.
Well, yeah, no, I agree. Jason Witten is.
Jason Witten, he's still Jason Witten. He's still doing his thing.
Oh my God, he's the slowest man on the field, but he at this point in his career, it gets breaks out of coverage because he's so slow that the guy overruns him.
Yeah,
like that. He's gotten to that point, and it's third down, and he's still third down. Throw it to Witten, and it works every time. Gets 1 more yard than he needs consistently.
He's still producing that. He's a big factor for the Cowboys' success. Cole Beasley.
Mm-hmm.
I had him on my fantasy team this year. He was a very consistent producer for the Cowboys.
Was he?
He meshed well with Dak Prescott. I'm not going to say he's the best receiver for them or anything, but he was surprisingly good. With the absence of Des Bryant, for a good part of the season, I was surprised at how well Beasley did.
Well, I mean, they just manifested off of the fact that there was so much time in the pocket, and there was
The offensive line was ridiculous.
And the running game was so good.
Zeke Elliott, I don't like him because he went to Ohio State, and I don't like him because he plays for the Cowboys, but I think he's a damn good football player.
I'm not sold on...
Well, his first year.
No, I'm not sold on Dak.
No?
Ezekiel Elliott, I think, is a great running back, and I think the offensive line is tremendous, and I think that gives...
Do you think that's why Dak had so much success?
Yes.
I mean, and obviously any quarterback, if you have a successful quarterback, the offensive line is going to have a huge part to do with that. But the guy's got to make the throws too.
Yeah, he does. But
I'm not saying.
But is it hard? Any quarterback can just throw to an open guy, right?
The guy has to get open too, but only time will tell.
Yeah. No, we'll see.
I mean,
we'll see if the Cowboys made a mistake.
I'm interested to see how he does next year. You see if they made a mistake in taking Prescott?
No, it made a mistake in.
Romo's gone.
Cutting Romo loose. I mean.
Well, I think the decision.
Does Romo win that playoff game against the Packers?
I don't think so.
Really? Dak played horrible in the first half. Second half, granted, Dak played well, but did they get in that hole?
I don't know.
I'm just throwing it out there.
I don't know. Is there what ifs, Jake?
Yeah.
We can ask that question as much as we want, but
did they make a mistake? Yeah, I don't know.
If Romo played that game and they made it past the Packers, do you think Romo would have been coming back for another year? Assuming he didn't get hurt in that game. Or do you think this is it anyway?
I don't know. I think he could have.
You think he would have? Not the question of could have. I mean,
what, beat the Packers?
Well, yes, but do you think he would have come back if for another year?
If he was still starting, yeah.
Okay.
But he wasn't. He wasn't just going to take the money to sit on the bench, right?
No, of course not.
No, he wants to move on.
I think he made the right decision.
No, I agree. In this circumstance, he made the right decision.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
So another thing in the NFL, Raiders being approved to relocate to Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
31 out of 32 NFL teams voted in favor of the relocation.
Mm-hmm.
Those teams and owners. The one outlier,
mm-hmm.
my own Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, we talked about this.
We did. And you you can say, go ahead and explain as to what was the thing about the tax. The fact that we don't have the tax in the state of Florida.
You have state tax in your sunny place, and he doesn't want another. And he uses that, and the Miami owner uses that.
Steve
the Miami
Ross,
team, they use that as like a way to attract free agents, right?
Well, you could say the same thing for Jacksonville and Tampa, though.
They do.
Jacksonville isn't attracting anyone.
But
Tampa was good this year.
Yeah, no, Tampa was good this year.
So was Miami, but you're right.
Nevada
doesn't have that tax either.
I don't think the Miami owner wanted another team with that free no tax and sunny. He didn't want another big free agent draw
into a big market.
Yeah, he didn't want because he wants. Yeah, so I think that's why he voted against it. Personally,
it makes sense. Stephen Ross is a very successful businessman.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he knows his stuff in that regard. There's been a long period of time in which I don't think he's known how to run a football team, clearly, but seeing as Dolphins, it's been a while since we've been any good. But as far as the move itself, take the Dolphins and the vote out of the equation.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of the move itself? And the destination, too, as opposed to them sharing San Diego's moving to L.A.,
mm-hmm.
What was the other destination? What was the other
Rams.
place? Well, the Rams already moved to LA. And what was the other place that the Raiders were potentially going to? San Antonio.
Well, I mean that wasn't necessarily where they were going to go, but it was one of the
an
names that was being thrown around. I don't like that owners have the ability to just pick up and move. It pisses me off because I think they use this to blackmail fans that pay. They pay for their stadiums,
mm-hmm.
and these owners make so much money off of them when they're already billionaires. They're and then
scumbags, a lot of them.
And then when they want a new stadium because they're not making enough billions,
mm-hmm.
they go, hey, you either give us a new stadium, a new free stadium, or we're just gonna leave. And then they just leave, and they make even more money. And the fans that have poured their tax money and have supported this team and given all of this money to a team are just betrayed
big time.
By I can almost never justify a team moving at this point.
I really don't. I agree with you. It's the fans. It's like they're, like you said, betrayed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It takes away a big part of the city.
Yeah.
In which they've been playing for I don't know how many years now. There's certain teams.
Yeah. No, the Raiders have been around for a while.
And I know they had stints in which they were in L.A.
Yeah.
And back to Oakland, but I don't think Las Vegas is a good place for it.
I think it's probably the best of available options.
I think it's a recipe for disaster.
Why?
Gambling.
I mean, what you think that people are gonna like rig games?
I don't know what's gonna happen. There's gonna be something going on there.
I mean,
aren't refs not allowed in Vegas? Something like that. I heard.
I think
know.
they must be.
I just don't think that Las Vegas is a suitable place. For a football team.
I mean,
for any professional sports team, for that matter. They've got minor league baseball teams there.
There's gonna be, I don't know. I think that's where all boxing is, essentially, and that's not rigged.
Well, it's not, but boxing isn't nearly as prevalent, as the NFL. You've got 32 teams.
Yeah.
All in these different cities.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Vegas is gonna. Granted, I think the crowds at Vegas are gonna be probably not too favorable to the home team, seeing as all the away fans are gonna want to make a trip of it and go there. But
this is, and Vegas has already got a lot of people coming, a lot of tourists as it is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just gonna.
It'll be great for the city of Vegas. It'll add more.
Yeah.
But
they're gonna have a lot of away fans at games, is what I'm saying here.
Yeah, fans will travel well.
Yeah, to Vegas.
It'll be like big time college football programs with their fans traveling well.
Yeah.
Because it's not like there's anything in those small cities, but
I think it's gonna be a lot of boxes in that stadium as well.
Oh yeah, big time.
Because that's a lot of money there.
Oh, it's the home of hospitality industry.
Yeah.
I think everything is. I think you're gonna see a lot of high quality stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're in the.
You think the stadium's gonna be nice as Jerry World?
That'll be interesting. We'll have to see. Let's say it is as nice or nicer. Does that mean that Jerry comes back and says, "Well, look at these. Look at what does he create Jerry World 2.0? Or does he modify the existing Jerry World?"
No way. Like,
do you think it'll be nicer than Jerry World? There's a chance it could be.
Yeah, I mean, it's just. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, here's the thing: the Raiders, if they said they're gonna move. If they do move, it won't be for minimum next 2 years. They said they're gonna play 2017 and 2018 in Oakland, as the new stadium in Vegas won't be ready, I think, until 2020.
Yeah.
So, do you see any possible?
They're gonna lose a lot of fans, I think.
Oh yeah.
I think they're gonna. They're gonna be good though, so they might not see the drop in attendance you would see for potentially a team like the Rams, who knew they were probably going, and so they had a major drop in attendance because they were bad and they knew their team was leading. Yeah. But the Raiders honestly could win the Super Bowl next year.
Had Derek Carr not, what was he, broke his leg, I think, or his arm.
Yeah,
had he not gotten hurt,
do
you think they would have made it to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I think they beat.
I thought they were going to.
They're going to beat the Pats,
and then I'm saying last year.
Yeah, no, I think they could have beat the Pats.
I do too.
And then
I remember saying if
Atlanta
they won the
them.
Super Bowl, or if they made it to the Super Bowl, they weren't going to leave Oakland.
I think they were going to leave already. I think plans were already in place. I think all the league owners know exactly what's happening.
Well,
before it happens.
They probably do.
Yeah.
So, anything else that we need to talk about, or we haven't covered? Anything you want to cover? Let's see.
No.
Talk about NBA. Talk about Major League Baseball. We didn't talk about the NBA too much, but playoffs coming up soon.
Yeah. Who do you think's gonna win?
I don't know. I think the Spurs are looking good though.
No way.
I don't think they're gonna win. I think Golden State.
Yeah, I could see that. I think the Wizards could have an outside shot at it.
Yeah. You make Big Ed pretty happy with that pick.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. I'd like to see the Wizards make a run of it because I think the Cavs are kind of in disarray. Obviously, LeBron's going to go LeBron, and they're going to need a heroic effort because playoff LeBron is disgusting.
He's disgusting as it is, and it's just he turns it up.
Yeah.
Like you said. I don't think the Wizards are going to win it.
No.
Sorry, Big Ed. I know you're listening. My friend, my other friends, see, I've got a message here from Bradley. He says the Pelicans for the win. I know he's kidding, but the Heat are looking good right now. They've been looking good lately. They're not going to win the finals.
No chance.
Well, they make but the fact that when we look at where we are from where we were to how we've been playing recently. He's looking good.
It's like saying the Hawks are going to win. Everybody knows they're not.
I'm not saying we're going to win the finals. I think we're going to make the playoffs, though.
Yeah, well.
And Bradley, if you're being serious about the Pelicans winning, that's. Yeah, well, you mean they're way out of time as it is. But, the Heat, I'm happy with how the Heat have been playing. I'm very impressed. But I think the Warriors are probably the front runners right now.
Yeah, no, I can see that, but they're playing so well without Durant. Well, I guess Durant's back now.
He's slated to make a return this Saturday, I think.
I think he's back.
Or was it already this past
Saturday? He's back. But they were playing so well without him. I'm wondering if him coming back into the equation
could throw them off center, you think?
Yeah, potentially. Because he kind of smothers Curry. Like, you don't see Curry's...
Thompson's like a blip on the radar.
Yeah, you don't see Curry's full potential, and I don't know. I think that could cause some tensions if they have a bad game. Like, something could happen, potentially.
It'll be interesting to see.
Could be tensions raised.
So you're saying matchup would be Cavs Warriors, or do you say Wizards Warriors?
Yeah, it's gonna be Cavs Warriors. I can almost promise you. But I'd like to see. I don't know. I think the Wizards have a bigger shot than people
think.
Yeah, a bigger chance that
they look good right now. John Wall had monster games. Russell Westbrook, just on a side note, from the Thunder.
Did he tonight? Tonight's the night he goes for
what, 42
for the tie.
Whatever it is.
For all-time triple doubles.
Yeah, that guy's a monster.
He is.
They play the Bucks tonight.
His efficiency is so low, though. Do you think he's really carrying that team, or do you think Do you think, like, do you think he's hurting them by shooting so many shots?
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
I mean, I really don't know. You can't argue with his numbers. But I think you can't argue with his numbers, yeah. So I think we're gonna call it a night.
Yeah.
And to everyone who tuned in, some people back home, Big Ed, Bradley, and others. This has been Chad and Jake in the evening.
Yeah. Have a good night.
Thank you.